Greetings, blessings, garden updates, end of May. Let's get into it. May 26th. So I mowed. Look at all this burdock. First off, I read on my herb cards you can actually use this, cut this off. Well, when they're baby leaves, you can use it, chop it up and eat it in a stew or cook it up however you may have. But when they get to this size, you can chop it at the leaf branch, I get stem, and use this as a herb carrier or whatever you're harvesting or foraging. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, this side mowed with a mower, this side mowed with a European scythe, however you want to say it. And so right here, basically where my hand is, right there, is me, owner of this land. And let's get into it. So it's growing back up. I'm gonna probably start mowing this again, going east or east to west, around June 9th. This will probably be growing back up depending on how much rain we got. You can already tell this is because this is where I first started on May 9th and it's getting a little bit more mature. And as you walk down, it gets a little bit lower and lower and lower, but it'll all catch up with the lengthening days. And then if you go all the way over to right about where those little two pine shrubs are, where my hand is where I've ended. And then if you work your way back, I'm starting over in the backfield now, and they're a little bit shorter rows going north to south. Got all in through here. It's a nice tree casting some shade. I found a nice branch in there I'm going to use for a pole over in the garden. And there's another nice branch in here. I'm gonna, cut off all these side branches, but the main one is a nice thick, maybe you can't see it, branch. Could be good, used for a good pole trellis. So now I'm back here, and you can tell this grass is a little bit taller, past that prime nutrition stage that I was talking about, but this is still good. Only 10 days past the 15th, or a little bit more than that. So I don't know how much further I'm going to keep working my way down, but I just do 2 rows a day, and before you know it, completed the entirety of this field. So starting from back where the video started. So getting over to the garden now, I wanted to talk about, I do a lot of direct sowing, and in previous years, you can go back to videos. I'll try and leave a link up in the top corner, but right here last year, the bed was a little bit more farther in, kind of like over there. There was some beautiful lettuce growing, and just from direct sow, doing the cut and come again rows. And this year I did not have too much success with the direct sowing of lettuce, only with the exception of the lettuce that I sowed inside the little low tunnel fabric on March 27th after the 3 feet of snow melted. That was the only lettuce that did good. possibly because it was overwintered. I mean, it was under the Agribon cover, but this whole bed was supposed to be lettuce, but only the south end, the most warm end, survived. Anyways, so lettuce is gonna be a few weeks out, probably not gonna have as much for the first market as I was expecting. Garlic. This is all potatoes that I saved from my own seed, or my own potatoes, my own seed potatoes, this past winter, and they're coming up, so that's really cool. I saved them in my closet over winter, and it wasn't the most ideal temperatures. And yeah, there's a lot of grass coming up, but as the potatoes fully come up out of the ground within the next week or two, as the time goes on, I'm gonna put grass on top of all of that grass coming up, and that will suppress all of that down. So then it will just be potatoes. And now all of these characters coming up are Jerusalem artichokes. I've talked about this as well in other videos. Let me go to the other side so my shadow's not casting. But anyways, we got more potatoes coming up down this whole row, and people might think I'm crazy, but I already had the garlic planted there. So I was like, why not try to plant potatoes intermixed with garlic? We'll see what happens. Which will be smaller, the garlic or the potatoes? I'm leaning on the side that it's not going to affect either of them. And if anything, the potatoes are going to be smaller and the garlic will be fine because the garlic already has an established root system. We'll see. This row is all garlic, and we'll take a walk in the garden, but there's lettuce that was also sowed in March that is doing kind of meh around the garlic, but it's growing nonetheless. So like I said, last year all my direct sowings in April of lettuce, they worked great. None of my direct sowings in April survived this year, and then all of my March sowings did survive. So interesting. This row, there's some third-year asparagus. I was shape-shifting this pathway, and I accidentally scraped off the top of the shovel. So I was supposed to probably get a harvestable amount of asparagus this year, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Looks like they got stunted. Down at the end of this row, there's some more garlic and some spinach going to seed, some overwintered lettuce. I'm thinking about doing the peppers in this tunnel or saving it for a second succession of cucumbers. I haven't decided on that yet, but tomorrow, tonight we're supposed to get our last 30 degrees night. It looks like 39. Today we just had our last frost. Like I said, it's May 26th, zone 5A, but really up here on the hill, it's more like 4B. Getting down to like -30, -35 up here. Some more overwintered lettuce, looking good in there. We'll go in there. There's some radishes. I know the full sun videos don't do it too much justice, but anyways, like I was saying, tomorrow all the tomatoes, which I'm going to show, all the tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants are going out into the garden, and that's a big day. Some more garlic and some more spinach going to seed, trying to save my seed off of that because it overwintered and saw the -32. There's some turnips, some Tokyo market turnips that aren't doing too well, and some radishes that are in the front. This bed also has radishes all going down it as well. This one got some Oregon snow peas with some elderberry cuttings, and everything got hit here by some really cold temps later than usual, but it's all cold hardy enough. But the more cold fluctuations that happen, the more stunted the growth gets, and the longer it will take to grow and get a harvest. So like I said, tonight is our last 30 degrees night. Then it looks like we'll have 50 degrees night, stable 50 degrees nights for at least a week. And that's when you want to start putting out your warm crops or start direct sowing your warm crops, watermelons, pumpkins, etc., cucumbers, zucchini. So yeah, basically everything's going to start to grow faster now that it will be stable temperatures. At least that's the hope. And then, like I said, all through here is Jerusalem artichokes. That's red fuchsia, I believe. I'm not 100% guaranteed on it, but it looks red, and I looked up the red fuchsia and they look kind of similar. They look exactly the same, actually. And then this one is Stampede Jerusalem artichoke, and I did a video on planting the potatoes, not of me actually planting them, but just me explaining what varieties are here. So I could link to that video here. And so yeah, all the potatoes are coming up. They got knocked by frost as well, but they will prevail. More garlic, looking great. In between the garlic is some lettuce in there. We'll go take a look at it. Some strawberries, and then I have some cucumber starts that I'm gonna trellis on this middle trellis. Kind of looks like the Tokyo, or I don't know what those are called, but kind of gives off that Zen, Japan, ninja vibe. Maybe I'm bugging. And something tried, soft neck garlic. All the other garlic was hard neck garlic. Now on this side is soft neck garlic. And intermixed, this was a newly prepared bed last season, meaning all of this section was actually from these poles over. This was just leaves, wood chips laid for the pathways, and then grass laid where the beds are. So 1, 2, all these beds. So just the garlic was growing in here, and I wanted to put peppers here, and I still might, but I just didn't, there wasn't going to be enough time with all the fluctuations, and I didn't want to put a crop here besides the garlic because I was going to maybe plant the peppers here. So I did an oat cover crop. This is Hudson Valley Seed Co. oat crop, oat seed cover crop, and Wood Prairie Family Farm oat seed cover crop mixed together because I had a little bit of both. So it looks like the oats are growing wonderfully, doing their job, protecting the soil, creating biomass, building organic matter. And I might just chop all that down and then transplant the peppers inside the mulch. I might just let it grow up until the garlic harvest, then chop it down, then put transplants into it. I don't really know what's going on with that bed, but it's a lot of different options. And this one is going to be for also cucumber or tomato trellising. I also just found out you can trellis eggplants. I didn't know they really climbed that high, so there will be some trellising of some eggplants. And then this is all soft neck garlic down this whole row, like I was saying. And then I have this little janky kind of string trellis thing. Oh. And yeah, I know it's not going to be that good, but I'm hoping that it can get me through the season. We'll figure it out. My idea is that I could just tie the one string from the top string, and then there's 2 other support strings. So as it grows up, it'll put some branches out on this one, branches out on this one. But I could still kind of keep the tomato pruned to the single stem because it'll have the one string starting at the top. If you know what I'm talking about, maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but you'll see as the season progresses. And then I'm thinking about being crazy and then just like trying to, because there's a pathway here. This is a bed, and this can be a bed. So maybe transplant into this one and transplant into this one, and then this back side can be another janky trellis system. But then maybe they can share this middle pole right here. So you put that up there, and then, yeah, I don't know. But let me know if you got any ideas. So yeah, that's a lot going on. And take a walk over to the stash spot. Not that kind of stash, just the grass kind of stash. So all of this grass is from that field that I was just started the video off of. All of these hand rolled round bales, and this wall was actually stacked up to that top branch of the pine tree, and I put basically that whole field is in the garden and right here on these beds, and this is what's left over from me starting to scythe that new shorter pasture yesterday. So, and then if you walk over here, this I had to get the tomatoes, the peppers, and the eggplants up. This thing keeps blowing open, but it looks like they were fine in the 38 last night, because this is a shade. So for the way frost works, well, I'm still kind of learning how it works, but if you're higher up, you're going to be above the frost level, so you won't get as bad as a frost, but also like it moves down the valleys, the mountains, and it sits in the valleys. So we're higher up here on a hill. But anyway, we're also under, when you're under shade of a tree, the frost also, you get protected from the frost. So we get a little bit of the rising sun, and then it gets pretty much shaded by this oak tree. And then the sun will come through and set in the west, and we get a little bit of filtered sunlight through the west, east side, west. And then the tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, they're here. They're looking good, and I'm really happy to get these out tomorrow, because these have been up here hardening off for about a week. So they'll take a little bit of transplant shock, but I don't think they're gonna get fried like in past years when I haven't hardened off the plants, and the plant basically has to completely die, or not die, but it fries back to the ground, and then it will regrow. This doesn't happen with peppers and eggplant, but it has happened with all the tomatoes. All the tomatoes will literally die back to the ground and then regrow, and you still get a crop off of them, which is pretty amazing. But another thing I've also showed in last year videos, you can just direct sow tomatoes like now, like dig a little furrow in the ground, put a whole bunch of tomato seeds in there. They'll germinate, sprout up, then you can, after like a week or two when they're a little bit established, tease them apart, separate them, and plant them all out, and you can just have a whole bunch of tomato plants that way. It'll take a little bit longer to get a harvest, but if you didn't have a way to start them inside, that's also a good way. These are some hazelnut, like 1-year trees that I found under some hazelnut trees, because the nuts drop and then they sprout and then grow a little 1-year tree. Also, so have those in pots and hopefully get the property, and we'll definitely will get the property. It's just the question is when, and then plant those out and have some hazelnut trees. Now these beds, those are the elderberry cuttings that I stuck in last fall. This is an oak tree from this oak right here, dropping its acorns. And then we also have some early eggplants that I planted, and they've gotten hit by all of these 30-degree nights, but it's under the canopy of this oak, so they didn't get they got shocked, but they didn't get fried, so that's cool. So down this whole row, I know it looks a little overgrown right now with all this goldenrod. I'm not gonna walk all the way down, but just like right here, there's these 3 elderberry cuttings. There's elderberry cuttings down this whole row now, and I'm gonna go through when I get some time, either later on today or in the next few days, and start chopping and laying down all those weeds that are coming up through the mulch, like I did here. Oh, there's a thimbleberry. It's like a raspberry cap. Found that just right around the corner and stuck it in the ground. Looks like that's gonna do good. And I'm trying to, I stuck an apple branch in the ground. I know you have to graft them, and it's a lot harder to root fruit trees from cuttings, but we're trying it. But anyways, the rest of this whole row is gonna look like this, with that leftover kind of hay grass. That's more green, lush grass, food for the garden. That is gonna be laid down and suppress all the rest of the goldenrod. We could take a little bit of a walk, and long story short, it's all gonna look like this, just so the elderberry cuttings don't have that much competition and they have a better time establishing. Elderberry, current cutting, elderberry, you get it, cuttings all the way down. And then we got some beautiful aster wildflowers. The Indian paintbrush is coming up. This didn't sprout yet, but it has a beautiful, they come in yellow and red flowers. And yeah, see, we got the yellow ones here, a little bit of red. These come out. And then these are the aster flowers. So even though the owner mows this, being conscious about leaving the wildflowers for the pollinators, then next time it gets mowed, they'll probably get mowed back. The garlic in the mounds is doing good. This is the Romanian red. Got the Montana giant. There's some echinacea starter plant coming up, and some calendula from seed. Some Italian red garlic. All right, let's take a quick walk in the garden here and see what's going on. This is another nice stick that I found over where that tree branch had fell. There's the beautiful mountains and blue skies of Vermont. But so we got some radishes coming up in here. Just a whole bunch of radishes. Here, see what's going on here. That's a nice one. I think that's a pink beauty radish, and they've been taking a while to size up, but that one's actually pretty nice. And then I'll use the greens and pestos on the ones that don't size up, and we'll take a little